What is up, everybody? The Eve of Ultron's Battle Matrix Protocol mode is here, and as part of the official Marvel Rivals Creator Program, I've been able to play this the last couple of days, and I have dumped so many hours into it. And in this video, I wanted to give you 3 of the best day one builds. We've played a ton of games, myself and some fellow creators, and I think I got some great builds to help you out as you jump into here and try to work your way up on the leaderboards, all right? So those of you who don't know, this is a brand new mode coming out. It's gonna be running from June 6th to, I believe, June 23rd, which is my birthday. But anyways, yeah, and it's an auto battler. So those of you who know about like team fight tactics, I've personally never played, but a lot of people are saying this is similar, okay? So I made another video, go check it out. I gave like 6 tips for getting started in this mode. I can make a lot more, so let me know if you have questions down in the comments below and I'll clarify where I can. But anyways, you get to choose your team, and it could be any setup that you want, and you get 6 characters just like you would in a regular Marvel Rivals match, all right? So I'm going to go over 3 different lists, some rosters, if you will. I don't know what the technical terms we're gonna use for this is. All right, I'm gonna go over 3 different lists, kind of tell you the thought process behind them, and kind of how you're going to select ability cards and level up your builds, all right? So one of them is for myself. It worked very well. I was going undefeated for a long time until the other players caught on and managed to beat me. And then I have a list from a buddy by the name of Silver Surfer, and then another creator named Kazuma, all right? So let's start off with my list, okay? So with this list, the idea behind it is, I was playing a lot and I was getting dove. My backline was getting dove, my healers were dying pretty quick, and I'm like, you know what? This mode allows for team-ups, and what stops divers? And I was like, you know what stops divers? Neymar stops divers. And Neymar has this team up with Hulk, so team-ups work in this mode. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna toss in Hulk and Neymar to handle these divers, okay? This is huge. This is a huge chunk of the strategy with this build, is the Hulk Neymar team up. So Neymar, as you can see, I set him up on the back line next to my healer, Luna. I'll touch on the healers in a second, all right? Because Luna's not a must, but anyways. And Neymar tosses down 2 squids instantly, okay? He tosses down a regular squid and a gamma squid. And these squids legit shoot across the entire map. So Neymar can sit in the back and just be nailing people while your tanks go up front and they're just wreaking havoc, all right? So this is huge. Players didn't know what to do against it. It was like having extra players on the battlefield. So you can scale up Neymar. You get abilities for each character as you progress through the rounds. I believe it's rounds 1, 6, 11, and 16. So rather than like 0, 5, 10, it's like one after that. It's complicated. Kazuma wrote it down somewhere. But anyways, you get to level up cards for specific characters, and you start out by picking 1, and then later you could pick 2. So something that I would do is I would get Neymar's abilities. One of them gives you extra squids that you could drop, and then the other one, his other ability, I believe, reduces the cooldown on his ultimate ability. So this combo is great later in the game because you can reduce your ultimate cooldowns by increasing the amount of ability charge you get for your ultimate abilities. So I was just squidding people. There were times when I was dropping just back to back to back ultimates with Neymar, and like the other team just did not know what to do. So let's touch on the other tank, Venom. Venom is phenomenal in this mode. A lot of people are thinking, a lot of the creators I was playing with are thinking Venom is like S-tier tank. So Venom has an ability where his ultimate, the more damage you do with your ultimate, he gets huge. So as you can see on the screen, we were battling with these gigantic Venoms. They're like Godzilla, they're like Godzilla size, okay? There is one drawback to this. There were times when I would get Venom and I would level up this ability for Venom very early on, but rounds wouldn't last long enough for him to get an ultimate ability off, or when he did, because he scales in size based on the damage he does with his ultimate. So I either wouldn't get the ultimate in rounds, or he wouldn't do that much damage. And like I would be in the later rounds and Venom was still tiny. But if you can manage to survive and have Venom just get off a couple ults, like he gets huge. So Venom is very, very good in this mode. By the way, make sure you subscribe because I will be making a tier list video, okay? So let's jump into the other duelist, Wolverine. So as you'll see, when I touch on Kazuma's build, I needed to figure out a way to take out tanks, okay? So before Wolverine, I experimented with like Moon Knight. Moon Knight, I believe, is very powerful in here. I tried Iron Man as well, and this is kind of a flex spot, okay? So depending on what the other teams are running, feel free to rotate out Wolverine. He's just very, very, very good against tanks. So if you're ever running into opponents that are like scaling into tanks, or their tanks are just doing a lot of work, you might want to pick Wolverine. But then again, there's other anti-tank heroes, which you'll see when I cover Silver Surfer's build, okay? So let's move over to the healers. So Loki is the first healer. I think Loki is a must, okay? And as you can see with Loki's positioning, I have him kind of up front. So the way Loki works in this auto battler is he immediately pops his shift, his little runes, his healing ability. He does it like right off the bat. So I try to move him up front so he's closer to my my vanguards. And you could play around with this. I was experimenting with different formations and stuff, but yeah, your Loki, you kind of want to put him up front. You don't got to worry too much about Loki being taken out because he pops his illusions. He's also getting defended a little bit by Namor's squid. So if anybody's coming back to your back line a little bit, the squids are attacking him. So, but yeah, Loki is very, very, very good. Now, the other healer that I was using a lot last night was Luna. And again, I'm gonna make a tier list video because I have a lot of thoughts on just like using different characters in here. Luna is pretty solid, okay? I think in this spot, Luna's solid, or Invisible Woman was solid. One of the main things that's helpful for your like secondary strategist is that you want a good ultimate that Loki could pop. As I got into the later games, Loki would copy Luna's ult. Sometimes he would pop it like immediately after hers, which wasn't too beneficial. But yeah, you would just have back-to-back Luna ults, and it was phenomenal. Luna, I just started using her last night, so I'm still like on the fence about her because her abilities that you scale into, like, they're like all right. Like there's one where her like shift ability, I think the cooldown's reduced and she does like 20% more healing with it. And then for Loki, by the way, Loki's too, I'm still on the fence about whether or not to scale into the healer abilities. Loki's abilities, he can like reduce the cooldown on his shift, he can pop more illusions. So as far as how you level into the abilities, I don't know what they're called, like the perks, the colors, whatever you want to call them, for this list, I would go mostly all in on purple, which is the equilibrium one, which kind of gives you a balanced list and levels everybody up, okay? And what I realized was I needed to be doing more damage. So I would get my purple skills up to like level 3, and then depending on my matchups, I would start scaling into something else. I definitely needed more damage, so I started leveling into the reds, which is for the duelist, but in another game, I started scaling into my tanks, so the blue one, all right? But yeah, purple is kind of, I'm thinking purple is the best way to go so far in this, unless you're running a different build. But yeah, so this is the build. Mainly, again, it revolves around Namor and Venom, I would say. So this was an amazing build. Like I said, I was going undefeated. I went like 20-0 with this list. And in every other game, even when I lost, I got second place and then I got third place. So this is a very solid list. But like I said, my opponents started to catch on. So let's jump into what they were running. So Kazuma, like I said, you could do whatever the heck you want in this game mode. Kazuma started running 6 tanks. This was the first one to take me out, okay? I was schooling him in the early rounds, but later I couldn't do anything. So maybe I'll have to, interview Kazuma sometime about the idea behind this build, but he was just so tanky. So he doesn't have any healers, but there are abilities that you can get that allow you to revive once, right? With like 10% of your health. And then there are abilities where you just generate health insanely fast. So the way that Kazuma built around his all-tank team was that he didn't even need healers because his guys were just healing so fast. It was bonkers. And like, I couldn't do anything about it. So if you look at, the way he scaled his abilities, he went all in on blue, like all in. He has 90 in blue and then like 1 in purple. It was bananas. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything. So this one that you're seeing here, he did Hulk, Venom, Thor, Magneto, Captain America, and Thing. I don't know if it's optimal. In the original game that Kazuma beat me in, he had Doctor Strange. I wasn't a fan of Doctor Strange at first, but once I saw Doctor Strange in this build, I was like, oh, Doctor Strange is really, really good if you're doing an all-tank team, because Doctor Strange's ultimate ability. So in the later rounds, once you are just like super tanky and then you're popping your ultimate like a lot more frequently, like anytime I was about to swing a fight in my direction, Doctor Strange would just pop his ultimate, my entire team or a good chunk of my team would be frozen, and yeah, he would just be able to heal up and just pummel me. So this list is very frustrating to play against. And like, I don't want to say this wrong, but we were playing with our buddy Chaos, and he saw Kazuma run this build, and Chaos was still learning the game, okay? So like, I'm not talking trash about Chaos. He was still learning the game. Kazuma, Silver Surfer, and I, we already been playing it like the day before. Chaos just started. But anyways, Chaos, as a novice, he ended up going into a 6-tank build, and he made it all the way, I think, to 2nd place. So it's very beginner friendly, okay? So all you have to do with this one is really focus on just leveling up the blues, but you want to, try to heal up as fast as you can and get revives when you can. And it is very frustrating to play against and very beginner friendly, all right? So this is the build that was beating me, but then Silver Surfer was like, I got an answer for that. So finally, there is Silver Surfer's build, and he built this just to take out Kazuma, okay? So I recommend this build if there's somebody in your match that is going all in on tanks like Kazuma. This is Silver Surfer's anti-tank build. So sorry, I don't know if I have a shot from like Silver Surfer's perspective on this. So this screenshot might be the best that I can do along with the gameplay. But Silver Surfer's lineup was, Venom, who we got a huge Venom, like myself, okay? His healers were Rocket Raccoon and Invisible Woman, but his anti-tankiness came from putting 3 duelists in here that are all percentage damage based, okay? So they are anti-tank duelists. So he had Wolverine, he had Iron Fist, and he had Human Torch, okay? So Human Torch also has the team up with Invisible Woman. I don't know how often he procs it. I mentioned that in my last video. Like, I don't think I ever saw Human Torch actually utilize the team up. But anyways, this thing ended up winning the entire thing and beating Kazuma because it's so anti-tanky. And then when I played against him, his Iron Fist just came to my backline and just destroyed my Luna even through her ultimate. It was ridiculous. So what I would say about this build too is that this build is not just good as an anti-tank build, it can do well against other ones. I think Surfer was off to like a little bit of a slow start and he didn't know if he was gonna end up, winning the whole thing, but by late game, he was able to take out Kazuma and Kazuma's insanely tanking build. Now, I could be wrong, but I believe Surfer scaled all in on purple. He just did the equilibrium one and just did that. So I think this is very good. Again, I'm gonna make a tier list video, so make sure you subscribe. The only thing that I question in this build is Rocket Raccoon. I think Rocket Raccoon is very good. Something I think is very, very, very powerful in this game mode is revives. So Rocket Raccoon does have his respawner. He also has an ability that you can get where I think he could place up to 4 respawners. So that's huge. But like, I started out playing this game using a lot of Rocket Raccoon, using a lot of Adam Warlock, and both of them, I kind of ended up being like, I don't know if they are the best characters. One issue with Rocket Raccoon is that in this auto battler mode, he will shoot his primary fire a lot and not heal sometimes. So that is one concern I have, but I could be absolutely wrong because Surfer won with this build. So if you're looking for a well-rounded build, if you're looking for an anti-tank build, this is the one to go with. This is one that I'm definitely going to try. I'm still going to tinker with my Namor build, but I think once people start catching on to the Namor build, it's very rough. So I'm gonna see how it goes once the game mode officially launches, see how far it'll carry me. But yeah, those are the 3 builds. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let me know if you have any ideas cooking up in your head. This game mode is super, super fun. I will be making more content on this. Again, I'll be making a tier list video. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell. I got more content coming your way. All right, but anyways, that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.